I think it's important that I show where the studio is now and where it's going. So let me just go over an update. Here are the studio shelving tools here. I can show you that. It's just a simple shelf, some of my stuff in here. And here is the work desk / workbench. And this is where I write my scripts for all the videos. So it's an important place. All the walls, my main objective is just getting everything functional and in place. Here is the gesso mixing area. So I've got my white acrylic paint and my chalk and an empty bucket that I mix the acrylic paint and chalk to create my gesso and distilled water. That's my ingredients, or the ingredients that I use for creating gesso. Got just a plastic shelf down here. So that's basically an update, because I didn't have these a couple months ago, and now these are here, the shelving, and it really works out functionality. I've got some storage up here. I've got some pieces of wood that I create my stretcher bars with. This scaffold here, and that's used if I do murals or if I'm working on something that's larger than 6 feet. All right, so now I'm going to show you the tools that I use to create. Basically, this is a compound miter saw, right? And that's how I create the support pieces. This is a support piece that just has the 45-degree angles. This one has the 45-degree angles and the holes to screw into the square frames or the rectangle frames. Ryobi table saw. And this is where I create the dimensional pieces for the canvas stretcher bars, right? So shelving up here, right? Now again, all this space, yeah, it looks rough. All this spacing here will all be white. So everything that you see will be absolutely whited out. So I'm gonna get a whole bunch of white paint, and that'll just help bring some more light to the studio. But basically, I've got some sanding pads, I've got my electric staple, some rollers, I've got a set of drills that I bought on Amazon for creating the frames and screwing frames into the wall or hanging frames on walls. Some glue up there, and I'll have links in the descriptions to those. So that's my basic tools. I got some clamps over here, and that's how I put the frames together initially and support them while I'm screwing them. Plane here, tape measure, compound knife for adding gesso to the canvas, secondary staple gun, and a light hammer for creating my frames. And just an assortment of tools that I use. I've got a grinder, I've got a reciprocal cutting tool that I use to trim and make little custom adjustments to the frames. I'm going to take you out to the display area, and I've shown this in previous videos, but I've made some updates or segues into the explanation, which I always make, of what this studio is about. We are a micro art studio in the Wynwood Walls area of Miami, and we create pop art, portraits, mixed media art, and abstract art. And we usually use acrylic on canvas. So this is one of our canvas frames that has not had gesso applied to it, and we're making adjustments to it because I said in the last video that creating the frames was a learning curve. So what happened here is that the supports were not cut back. So when the gesso was applied and it stretches the canvas, you'll see the outline of the supports. And you can, I don't know if the camera is going to pick this up, but you can kind of see in this canvas how this support edge is coming through. Now that may not be visible when actual paint is applied, but I think it's probably better to trim that back, then start applying artwork to that frame, opposed to chancing it and then have that support piece show through. So that's just a learning curve that I went through. And if anyone's going to create their own frames, Make sure that you cut back your support pieces so that they're not on the same surface as the main frame, and then bevel your frame, your main frame. And I'll kind of explain this over here. So here is a frame, a completed frame, right? And I'll show you the frame in its entirety, right? So what I mean is that this support piece, which I haven't done yet, is on the same level as the main frame, right? So the adjustment that I need to make is these support pieces have to be cut back. So their width or their positioning in relationship to the frame should be cut back. So this is what I mean. This should be cut back to about here, right? So that this is below where your canvas will stretch and touch. And then these edges here need to be beveled significantly, right? So you don't have these edges showing through on your canvas. This support as well needs to be cut back by 1/2 inch. So basically, I'm gonna cut this back a 1/2 inch before I put canvas and gesso it. And that's something I learned, it's just a learning process. Right. This is not a gallery, this is a display area. This is an art studio with a display area, because I don't like to use the word gallery. I like to use display area for my studio. This is where I will. So I'm going to take down this wood paneling, this temporary wood paneling, remove that, and sheetrock that wall with this moisture resistant sheetrock, and then tape it and paint it. So this entire space will be absolutely white. So yeah, it looks rough, it's dingy, and I want to show you guys what it looks like now, because I want to show you guys the progression of the studio as I go through time and as I work towards making this a full all-out studio. These speakers here, now these are some really cool JBL speakers that I picked up. They're going to be reconditioned. I'm going to rebuild these speakers, and they will take the place of these speakers here. So these speakers that you see here, these are temporary. I'll remove these and replace those speakers with these speakers, right? And these may have some sort of LED light applied to them, but I'm just gonna redo these speakers, put new material on them, sand them down, repaint them, put new speakers in them, and they just look absolutely awesome. Moving up to the ceiling, you see I have high ceiling, this high atrium ceiling. There's a conduit here, there's electrical conduit, and I hope you guys aren't getting dizzy, but there's this conduit, electrical power line or conduit, and I will have an electrician modify that so I can have track lighting that will come down, and then the artwork that's on these walls will be lit by that track lighting. So that's a future. And then on the floor, I've determined that I really hate this floor, and everyone says to me, why don't you leave the floor, it's cool, whatever. I really don't like the color of it. It's got a pink tone to it. It doesn't match with anything that I'm doing in terms of the color palette. So I'm going to take up these tiles, and I'm most likely going to just retile this floor with white Carrera tile. This is Miami. There's a lot of tile places. There's the Port of Miami, and a lot of construction material comes through the port. So we have a section in Miami that just has all building material, and there's a section that just has tile, and you can find phenomenal tile from all around the world, from South America. I have space for, and I have a secondary display area. I'm showing you the primary display area because it's right next to the studio. So here's the display area. Here's the studio in the background. Here's the vehicle that we're going to use to shoot footage of Miami in the Art District and Wynwood and South Beach and Hollywood, Florida, and anything that has our Coconut Grove, anywhere that has an art scene happening. We're going to take this bike, put a 4K camera, and just take you on the ride as we go explore the art in Miami. So basically, this is the main display area. You can kind of see the layout. It's got 3 pieces here, right? And these are fairly large frames. I'm talking 3.5 feet by 4+ feet, you know, maybe 6 feet on that one, or just under 6 feet. So these are larger frames, and I work in large format. And this wall has the capacity to have 4 pieces on it, and then I've got 2 frames in this corner, and then 2 frames in this corner. In the last video, I talked about what we're doing in terms of series. So the first series will be prints. The artist known as Prince. We're going to do 5 pieces of prints. We've got 3 designs already ready. We're going to do a mural, or actually portrait of Prince, and we're going to do a mixed media piece of Prince, and then we're going to do 2 mixed media pieces of Prince, 1 mural of Prince, and then we got two more underway. Something related to his performance at the Super Bowl here in Miami. So that's going to be that one, and then I think we're going to do one with him in Vanity. So that's kind of what we have going on. So I showed you the tools, showed you just the shelves, the desk area, the main display area, frame construction, and the lighting. In the future videos, I'll take you into the main office area where I have my computer set up and where I do my design stuff and my marketing, YouTube stuff. But that's a future video. All right, so thanks for watching this video. Stay tuned for more videos. Support, please like us and subscribe to this channel. We really appreciate it. If you want to support the studio, it's simply Patreon/Miami Wynwood Art, and there'll be a link in the description for all the tools that I have that I purchased on Amazon. And if you would be so kind and click on those links, if you need any of those tools, if you want to use those tools, or if you want to purchase anything, we are an affiliate of Amazon, full disclosure, and that money goes directly into buying paints, supplies, brushes, and things of that nature in relationship to the studio. So please click on the Amazon affiliate link within the description and help the studio out. We would really appreciate it. Thank you so much, and look out for the next video.